Hey guys, I don't know if anybody's here with me just yet. I'm just getting set up. So give me a second here because we all know how I have tech issues sometimes. Gonna get YouTube open so I can, because we all know how I have tech issues sometimes. Just getting this set up so I can see the chat for when people do join in. Like I said, I started about 10 minutes early so that I could avoid the tech issues because I do have tech issues. So I'm just moving my windows around here for a minute so I can get situated. And so I can see the chat. Let's see. Okay, I just put a thing in the chat so people know that I'm ready to go. So I guess I'll just talk here for a few minutes by myself. Oh, hey, there's Matt. Okay. Hey, Matt. Um, I was just saying, Matt, I'm waiting a few minutes. I started early because, well, I have technical issues sometimes, and yeah, so I didn't want to be late. But I got all my list of questions here that I'm going to answer, and then hopefully more people will jump on, and we can like have a horror discussion of sorts. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But it might be a few minutes. Um, hey, Doug. Hey, Eric. Yay! I'm glad people are joining in. I was just telling Matt that I started early because I have tech issues sometimes and I don't like being late. So I wanted to get those out of the way before I started. And some of the stuff on YouTube has changed. And so I just wanted to start early so that I could iron out all those things and remember what I was doing to get started. Um, so yeah, I'm getting ready here to start answering the questions that I got um, on one of my last videos where I asked questions. Hey, John. Um, and yeah, so I'm going to go ahead since there's a few of you already in here. I wasn't really expecting this many people here to be this early, so that's cool. And so yeah, I'm going to start answering the questions I got, and then after I go through all of these, if anybody else has any additional questions, we can kind of go through those. But um, so yeah, so I'll start with the first one was from Monty, the horror miser, Monty G. And he asked me, which old school horror movie would you like to see remade or rebooted? Um, I'm not really against remakes. I enjoy them, but and I think that there are Universal monster movies in the works, but I would like to see somebody remake The Creature from the Black Lagoon, but make it like, change the story just a little bit, but make it super brutal and like, hey Zachary, make it super brutal, super violent, and like I think it would be epic if there was the right director could do Creature from the Black Lagoon. So I would probably pick that one because I feel like it has the most promise. Like, you could keep the monster kind of looking the same, maybe a little bit more fierce and up to par, but I would want it to be a practical monster. I wouldn't want it to be computer generated. Um, so that would be my answer for that one. Jacob Carver asks, favorite indie horror film, and would you ever do a video without the hat? um, yeah, I would do a video without the hat. Um, I don't have a problem doing a video without the hat. The whole hat thing is kind of funny because when I first started my channel, the day that I was going to start making videos, like I hadn't colored my hair. And so you could see all my roots. And so that's why I put the hat on in the first video. And I got so many compliments and questions about the hat that I was wearing, and at that time, it was the Freddy Krueger sweater print hat, um, that I just kept wearing different hats, and people were like, "Oh, Amy, you got cool hats." So I just kept wearing hats. So now it's just kind of like this habit. I throw on a hat and I make the videos. I have like done videos before where I've taken my hat off. And if you follow me on Instagram, a lot of times I record videos for my Instagram story, and and I don't have my hat on there. Um, is the winged skeleton behind you from the movie House, from the medicine cabinet scene? No, I actually, it's a Halloween decoration. I got it at a store around Halloween, and I don't even remember what store I got it at, but I've had it for a couple of years. But it's not from the movie House. Favorite indie horror movie? That's a difficult one. I can tell you my favorite indie horror movie director is Todd Sheets, but there are so many great indie horror films, and I kind of categorize them in like, because there's independent filmmaking and then there's micro budget filmmaking. So like you have independent filmmakers like John Waters and Kevin Smith, they're still getting like $1 million budget to make their movies. I'm thinking of micro budget, where they've got like 10 grand and they're going to make a movie out of that. Todd Sheets is probably my favorite filmmaker. Hey, Dave. And I enjoy all the films he makes. Hey, Gary. Hey, Stephanie. Wow, everybody's there. Do you know Sean? I do. I don't know Sean, but I have followed his channel for years and commented on videos and stuff. But he and I are not like friends or anything like that. But he's always been very cool to me, even if I've tagged him in videos or tagged him on Instagram or anything like that. Or he always answers comments when I comment on his videos. So yeah, cool duder. I do enjoy his channel. So that was Jacob Carver's question. Horrific Nightmares JM. Jason has like a whole bunch of questions. So the first one he asked was, what was my first horror movie? I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure the first horror movie I ever saw was Jaws. I believe I was about 5 years old. And hey, Jacob, I actually just answered your question, Jacob. So I'll like reiterate your question for you real quick. My favorite, I don't really have a favorite indie horror film, but my favorite indie horror director is Todd Sheets. And yes, I would do a video without the hat if you would like me to. I did explain that on Instagram, a lot of times I'm not wearing a hat in things that I post. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. And yeah, I could do videos without the hat. The hat generated because when I started my channel, I had not colored my hair and I had roots showing, and I didn't want to show my roots, so I threw on a hat. And then everybody just was kind of like went nuts over the Freddy Krueger sweater hat that I had. And so that's the whole thing there. So my first horror movie was likely Jaws. The only other one that could have been the first one would have been Creature from the Black Lagoon. Jason's next question is, what got you into horror? Well, I just happened to see Jaws on TV. Hey, Ben. Hey, Michael. But my parents like horror. My parents both like horror movies. I mean, just even a couple of years ago, they were watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they're in their 70s. So my parents definitely like horror. But I just remember like being little, and Halloween, the Halloween time of year really got me into scary movies, and that's kind of how it all started, I guess, my family. If you could remake a film, what would it be and why? If I could remake a film, if I could make a film, I probably wouldn't remake one. I would make something new. If I was going to choose a film to remake, I would like to see I don't know, man. That's a tough question. That is a tough question. If I could remake a film, what would it be and why? I don't know what I would remake. I mean, somebody else asked a question of what would I like to see remade, and I picked a Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I think that if the right director was selected for that project and they kept the effects practical, they could change the story a bit, change very little about the creature costume, but make it maybe more vicious and make the whole thing more brutal and violent. I think it would be epic to have a Creature from the Black Lagoon remake that was like that. But, you know, I guess I would pick that. What is it you like about indie horror? Indie horror. I love indie horror because I went to film school, and indie horror reminds me of film school and like the films that we would make in school and like my friends would make and I would make, and we would work on each other's projects. And it's just got this feel to it that takes me back to that time. And that's one of the big reasons I love indie horror. Let's see here. How many people we got watching? Okay, 13. So yeah, that would be that's why I like indie horror. My favorite horror film of all time, guys, is The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead. Hey, Bones. Man, I'm stoked that a lot of you are joining me. This is awesome. The Evil Dead is my favorite horror film. Dave Maggot, your question is next. If you could sacrifice every film in one of the big four, Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just to get more sequels of the one that is your favorite, which would you sacrifice? I would probably, I really hate to sacrifice any of these because I do love all the franchises. But the one franchise that I like the least number of sequels in is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I would probably sacrifice Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I even hate to say that because I feel like the first film is so iconic in horror history. But yeah, I'd have to pick that one because I get a lot more enjoyment out of like Halloween and Friday the 13th, and I don't know, they're just fun. So that's what I would pick. Queenie Todd, what is the hardest horror movie you've ever watched? Well, there's a few. I watch. It's not like a particularly a difficult film to watch, but one time I was watching. I think the director's name is Brian Paulin, and he makes some great films. He's an independent filmmaker, and he always is really high on the gore list. But I was watching his film. I'm pretty sure it's Brian Paulin. I was watching his film Bone Sickness. And it was so, like, the beginning of it was so disgusting. I thought I was actually going to be sick. I thought I was going to vomit. So that movie was difficult for me to watch because of that. Another one that is particularly kind of difficult for me to watch is I Spit on Your Grave, just because it's so brutal. Like, it's just so brutal, you know. Rape revenge is not one of my favorite genres, but I can watch it. It's no big deal. Hey, Jason. But I Spit on Your Grave is kind of difficult for me to watch. A Serbian film was somewhat difficult for me to watch. But honestly, I've never watched Cannibal Holocaust. If I had ever watched Cannibal Holocaust, that would be the one that would be the hardest for me to watch because of the animal killings. I can pretty much deal with anything else, even if it's horrendous subject matter. But when you have brutal, or when you have animal killings, hey, Wolfie. Hey, Slasher 101, Oklahoma, awesome. Brutal animal killings there. Yeah, there's no way I could watch that. I just couldn't because it's real. Anything else is fake, and I can pretty much deal with anything else. So that was a good question. Her second question is, do you ever watch Video Nasties, and how do you feel about them? I have seen lots of Video Nasties. A lot of them are good. Some of them are not that great, but I think it's kind of funny that video nasties were like banned in the UK, especially when I watch some of them and I think, why was this banned? um, yeah, like some of them I just don't get why they were ever banned to begin with. But um, I don't have a problem with video nasties. I've watched lots and lots of them, and I've not seen all of them that are on that list, but I've definitely seen a fair share. Um, Man, 19 of you now. Woo! Okay, so the next question comes from Mike Hatfill. Where are you from? What state? I am from Ohio. That's where I am currently at. Ohio, where Michael Long is from. Wolfie, stop. Wolfie's trying to disconnect the computer. Do you have a particular thing you like to collect? Yes, I like to collect VHS tapes. I like to collect masks. I like to collect some figures and like props and things. I like to collect all that kind of stuff. I am thinking of starting a channel, so I want to know what you tape your videos with. What you tape your videos with. First of all, I wish I was taping them because then they would be on VHS. I usually, honestly, at this point, I use my laptop. I use my laptop for recording most of them, my movies, most of my videos. Sometimes I use my phone, which is an iPhone. I sometimes use that. Bruce Campbell in the background there, representing the Evil Dead. Yeah, I feel like if you want to start your own channel, you should just do it and just use your phone if you don't have anything else. Some people have fancy cameras and stuff like that, and I would love to get another fancy camera, but it's not going to happen with the trips I'm taking this year. Wolfie, stop. Wolfie's trying to ruin the live stream. Right, Wolfie? Hey, Miko. So that was Mike's question. Next question is Alan King's Nation. Your favorite or top 3 slow burn type horror movies? That's a really difficult one too. I would definitely select Burnt Offerings as an excellent slow burn movie with an excellent like ending. I would probably pick The Witch, and I know that that is questionable for some people, but I do love the movie The Witch. I felt like that ending was such a huge payoff for me anyway. House of the Devil. I've not seen House of the Devil, but I've heard good things about it. So I'd probably pick Burnt Offerings, The Witch, and the third one. There's so many good ones, though. One that I recently saw, it was on Netflix, and I really loved it, and a lot of people didn't like it, was The Ritual. I would definitely suggest you watch The Ritual. Unless Mander McFlander's watching, and she hated The Ritual. But I don't think she's watching. She's at work, she said. Wolfie, stop. Wolfie, when he was a baby, Matt's asking if Wolfie is a werecat. When he was a baby, his ears looked too big for his head. So I said he looked like a mini werewolf, and that's why I named him Wolfie. Okay, so the next question is Dylan of the Dead reviews. Go-to horror movie when you're in a bad mood. Hey, and ready. Okay, Wolfie's given up on the electrical cords, thankfully. So go-to horror movie when you're in a bad mood. If I guess it depends on what your definition of a bad mood is. If I am feeling sad or upset, Ben, that is not, it is a butt on the wall, but I thought you asked if it was my butt on the wall. No, a friend of mine painted that painting back there. It is a butt though. My niece would be happy, Ben, that you asked that, because when she first saw it, she asked me if that was a butt on my wall too. Okay, so go-to horror movie when you're in a bad mood. So if I am like upset or sad or crying or something, I would likely choose Army of Darkness, because it's fun, it's funny, and I love Bruce Campbell. If I'm in a bad mood because I'm angry, like really angry about something, then I would choose, hey, Alan, um, if I was really angry, I more than likely I choose Hatchet or House of a Thousand Corpses, because a lot of people die and it's brutal. um, yeah, so Friday the 13th. I love the Friday the 13th movies. Alan, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well. Um, the next question comes from Gamer Geek 244, and Gamer Geek says, "Hey Amy, I've been a fan for a couple of weeks. Wow, a newbie, and never commented. What is your favorite horror movie of all time?" Favorite horror movie of all time, The Evil Dead. Always going to be The Evil Dead, because I love Bruce Campbell. I love Ash. I love that whole franchise. Let's see. Ben Grimm, your question is, one reason I love your vids is you always find the weirdest movies. What's the one video you consider the weirdest? Wow, that's a difficult question, as you may guess, because I've seen so many weird movies. Let's see. I always thought that the movie Slasher, you're going to be at Texas Frightmare? Well, I actually don't drink anymore, but we can definitely meet up and you can have a beer. um what was I saying? Oh, weirdest movie. There's a lot of movies that are really weird that I think are really weird, but they're not obscure. Poultrygeist is a very weird movie. What else? Poultrygeist is very weird. The movie Teeth is also very weird. And a lot of people really like that movie, but I actually hated that movie. But it is a weird one. There's Killer Pinata. That's pretty weird. It's about a pinata killing people. Oh man, there's so many weird movies. I mean, for me to name the weirdest one I've ever seen is kind of not easy to do. Poultrygeist is really weird. I mean, if you're a fan of trauma movies, you should watch Poultrygeist, because it's so ridiculous and dumb and in bad taste and like so politically incorrect and, you know, gorific. Okay, so the next one is from Token Dave. What made you want to become a YouTube reviewer? When did you move to LA and how long did you stay? And what's your second favorite horror genre? What made you want to become a YouTube reviewer? Okay, briefly, hey, The Shape, free butt art with all my autographs. Since I just got out of Japanese class, have you ever heard of? Yes, I have heard of Killer Sushi, Dave. I've not seen that one yet. Ginger Dead Man. See, the list of weird ones goes on and on, really. So Token Dave, what made me decide to be a YouTube reviewer? Well, one of my closest friends actually passed away years ago, like five years ago, maybe 6 years ago. And he's who I was constantly working on projects with. We were writing screenplays, we were working on comic books, we were working on movies, and I worked with him on and off for years. He was a friend of mine from school, and he passed away very unexpectedly. He had a heart condition he didn't know he had, and he collapsed and could not be resuscitated. And when that happened, I didn't have anybody to talk about horror movies with. I didn't have anybody to like really deal with like all the things I liked to do and talk about. I didn't have anybody else anymore to talk with them about it. So I decided to start a YouTube channel, since I had such a big background in like loving horror movies and have been watching them my whole life. Um, that's why I decided. When did you move to LA? I moved to LA after school, and I was there for 18 years. What's your second favorite horror genre? Well, my first favorite horror genre is like creatures. Anything that's like a little monster, like critters, ghoulies, gremlins, anything with a little monster is my favorite kind of horror. Um, I That's probably my favorite. But I mean, I really like pretty much every horror genre. The only one I don't like is torture porn. Um, I am not a fan of torture porn. So I don't like the Hostel movies. I'm not a fan of those. I'm okay with the first 3 Saw movies, and then they just kinda I just think it gets old and boring, and it's the same thing over and over, and so that's what I don't like, but second favorite would either have to be zombies or slashers, would be my second favorite. Amy, you rock. Thank you, Miko. Matt. That's okay, Matt. You know, it happens. It's unfortunately a part of life. I am like what I can tell you is that through the experience of my friend Jeff passing, um, passing away and starting this channel, I have made so many amazing friends that I now have like hundreds of people I can talk about this kind of stuff with. Whereas before, I had him, but you know, we I just didn't have anybody else to talk to other than him. Um, so when I started the channel, I made all these friends, and like everybody's so cool and supportive. And yeah, I talk about horror every day of my life at this point. Um, have you found any more Mexican horror tapes? I have not found any Mexican horror tapes recently. Um, your favorite Area 51 movie? Oh my gosh, the questions are coming fast. um, have you thought about starting a second channel? Perhaps Amy's Afterthoughts? I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to see like that much more of me starting a second channel. Mexican horror tapes. Yeah, I collect VHS tapes for those of you who are new to my channel, and I do have a pretty big selection of Mexican VHS. I am not fluent in Spanish, but I understand more than I can speak. And so I have always enjoyed watching like Mexican movies. I don't know why. I've always loved it. And having lived in California, my Spanish was a lot better when I lived out there. But okay, so the next question is movie chatter. I don't know if you're still watching, Stephanie, but movie chatter says, have a great collection of masks. Are there any that you're looking to add to your collection, and what made you start collecting them? They're very cool. I have an endless number of masks on my list. The ones I want to get next, I want to get Victor Crowley from, hey, Casey. I want to get Victor Crowley from Hatchet. I want to get Fluffy from Creepshow. And my favorite mask sculptor is Justin Mabry of Trick or Treat Studios. And he, hey, Phil, Justin Mabry of Trick or Treat Studios is my favorite mask sculptor. And I would like to get like a lot of the masks he sculpts. But yeah, the next couple on my list would be the Victor Crowley mask. I also need the Halloween 2018 mask. And Fluffy from Creepshow. I would also like to get Pumpkinhead. I mean, it's just a never-ending list. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And then they just released on Trick or Treat Studios, they just released pre-order for the plaid shirt zombie from Dawn of the Dead. I definitely have to get that one. Yeah. What made me start collecting them? Probably the Halloween season. Because when it was Halloween time, any place I could go into where there was a wall of masks, I was fascinated to have a wall of masks. And so that's kind of what I've started. I only have like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I have only have like 18 masks so far, but eventually I probably would have hundreds. Okay, Cadaver Club. Ben, you mentioned once that you went to film school. What and are any of them able to be viewed by us? I did go to film school. Most of what I worked on were independent films, like short films. I worked on a TV show in the 90s called The Nikki Cox Show. I don't know if any of you remember that or not, but it was called The Nikki Cox Show, and I was on special effects artists that made the corpses that they danced with on their Halloween. So that was one thing. I worked on another independent film called Bad Reputation, where I did the blood effects on that. One is still around that you can find it somewhere to watch. Did a lot of the other ones, I don't even know if they were ever released because I was mostly working on special effects. So like in and out of it for a portion of the shooting, and then that was it. And then sometimes I never even knew if the films came out or not. I was just happy to be working and getting paid. So do you really have Bad Reputation, Jason? That is so freaking awesome. Yeah, like my buddy Jim Hemphill directed that, and he directed another movie later, and it was more of a drama. It was a drama. And my friend Angelique was the lead role in Bad Reputation. It's like a rape revenge film. That's pretty freaking awesome, dude. I have it too, but I didn't figure anybody else would because I worked on it. Gamer Geek, yes, I did answer it. I can tell you though, real quick. Again, Nikki Cox Show. I think she was on that show on Happily Ever After. But I did a lot of things. I made masks and costume pieces for Six Flags, also for Universal Studios. I did a bunch of different things like that. So your question, I think, Gamer Geek, was my favorite horror movie of all time is The Evil Dead. Yeah, that is pretty epic, Jason, that you have that film. How funny. Yeah, I'm still actually, my friend Anne just is on Instagram, so I still talk to her on the regular. Okay, so next question is from Evil Stevel. If you were to get a chance to make a film with an unlimited budget, would it be horror or something else? What type of film would be your dream project? It would be horror. It would be a horror movie. And if I had an unlimited budget, I would combine my two favorite genres, being horror and super violent action. And I would have like this team of people who could be hired to, in a futuristic world, like take out creatures or hordes of zombies. And on my super team, there would be Ronda Rousey, and there would be Iko Uwais from the Raid films. And it would be epic because he could do his martial arts. Ronda Rousey could do her mixed martial arts. They would have guns. Everything would be blowing up and like bloody. It would be epic. It would be epic. Obviously, I have thought about this question before. Stuart Hill. Hi, Amy. What sort of music do you listen to? Do you have a favorite movie soundtrack? My, I kind of like a whole bunch of different horror movies, a whole bunch of different music genres. I literally like something from everything almost. I like rap, I like pop, I like classic rock, like the Doors and the Rolling Stones. My favorite musician of all time is Prince, or I should say was Prince. I got to see him in concert once, and it was epic. Hands down the best show I've ever been to. I do like Raw Force is awesome, Jacob. I like modern stuff. I like old stuff. I like folksy stuff. I mean, I literally like a little bit of everything. Probably the genre I like the least is country, but there's only a couple people I like in country, and I'm not even sure they really don't sound country-esque, but I mean, I like old school 80s stuff, alternative stuff, grunge. I mean, I like pretty much everything. There's something in most genres of music that I can find. And guess what, guys? I even like Justin Bieber. I do. My best friend makes fun of me, but that's okay. Do you have a favorite soundtrack? You know, the soundtracks that always stick out in my mind are Quentin Tarantino's movie soundtracks. The Pulp Fiction soundtrack. He just always chooses very interesting music for his movies, and he might, in my opinion, he might be the one who picks the best songs to go along with a film of any other filmmaker. Um, yeah, Doug, I like Styx, Kiss, Metallica. I like Henry Rollins, Black. I mean, I like a bunch of different stuff. It's just Tori Amos. I mean, everything from like Tori Amos, Nirvana. Um, do you live on a farm, Amy? I have chickens. I do have chickens. I don't live on a farm, but there are 8 acres behind the house, and I do have chickens. And when I was a kid, you know, we had more animals and stuff. So I guess I grew up on a farm more or less. But you can't believe Prince is my favorite of all time. Hands down, best show ever. You do have. I'm not into horror as a genre in movies, but I do have a favorite horror movie, Freddy versus Jason. I love Freddy versus Jason. In fact, I got to meet Ken Kersinger at Texas Frightmare Weekend last year, and I had him sign my Freddy versus Jason hockey mask. And so I was super excited about that. Hardcore rap, you make that, Matt? I actually do like hardcore rap. Lita! What's up? Look, here he is. I like a little bit of everything. So Vargas Vault, he has 2 questions. What is your favorite VHS tape that you own, and most insanely weird movie you've seen? Well, I sort of already covered the most insanely weird movie I've seen. I've seen so many that I can't even narrow that down. I've seen too many. Too many. There was a movie that I wanted to see it was called something about Attack of the Killer Donuts or something like that, but I never did get a chance to see it yet. My favorite VHS tape that I own is a tape of the movie Dead Pit. It has a 3D cover, and the eyes light up, and that's my favorite VHS tape that I own. It was like a grail tape. I needed that tape for my collection because that was a tape I saw every single time I went to the video store. So it's the 3-dimensional, like the cover that sticks out, like embossed 3D. I don't know what you call it. VHS with the light up eyes. And yes, my VHS tape has the light up eyes, and it does still work. It does work, Jason. It does. I actually have a video of it somewhere on my channel. I think it's called I Found My Grail Tape, or I Found My Holy Grail Tape, or something like that. But I did show it there, that you press the button and it does light up still. And that was a tape that I searched for years, and I was really happy when I found it. No, not a lenticular cover. It's like a 3-dimensional cover. Like it's a plastic, like it's got a plastic sculpted cover to it. Not the lenticular where you move it and see it. I have Frankenhooker, but I'm still looking for the talking Frankenhooker. Want a date? So the next question is Laura's Looney Bin. Laura, top 3 horror movies for 2018, top 3 Asian horror films ever, and when are you returning to Freaky Girls Live? Let's see. My top 3 horror movies for 2018 would probably be Hereditary, Terrifier, and Halloween. Those are the ones that uh, I liked the best. Um, hey, Bronco Juggalo, you're driving and entering the chat. Be careful. um, yeah, the light up. You remember that tape too, Michael? Lita, you like the Grave Dancers? I love that movie. It's so underrated. So underrated. Um, yeah, the Frankenhooker tape would be so rad to get. I've been wanting that one too. Um, so that would be my 3 favorites for 2018. Top 3 Asian horror films ever. Man, that's really tough too because there's a lot of there's a lot of good ones. Token Dave, before I get some udon, my classmate wants to know if you like The Grudge. I liked the original Ju-on movies, the Asian movies, better, but I did enjoy The Grudge for what it was. The sequels aren't very good. The only one of those remakes, the American remakes from Asian films that I actually liked was The Ring. But I did like the Ju-on movies, all of those, before they remade them. So yeah. Top 3 Asian horror films ever. I might have to actually go with The Ring. I also like Versus a lot. And see, these are all really old picks, but what's another one? Robert. Robert, joining in the chat like old times, posting boobs. Um, I can't think of a third one. I like Imprint a lot. I like Audition a lot. Um, I guess I would have to pick Versus, Ring, and Audition. But there's so many. I mean, Itchy the Killer. I mean, there's a lot of them. When are you returning to Freaky Girls Live? Well, I wasn't planning on returning to Freaky Girls Live, but yeah, the American Ring and Dark Water are good, but they're not better than the originals. Foggy Lungs. Man, this is awesome, you guys. This is cool that you guys have joined in because I wasn't sure how many. It's been a while since I've done one of these live streams, so I wasn't sure who would actually join in. Next up is Kim Lehman's question. What's your favorite horror comedy? And are you a fan of the Outlast video games on the PS4? Favorite horror comedies? Well, probably my favorite would be um, Army of Darkness, of course. Army of Darkness. Um, hey, Sean. I'm trying to keep up with questions and chat and everything. Battle Royale and Old Boy are also excellent, Michael. I definitely agree. My favorite horror comedies. Probably my favorite is Army of Darkness. I also really love Wolf Cop. Saturday the 14th is a good one. Let's see what else. Shaun of the Dead, Zombieland. Oh, you know what's a really good one, and people don't talk about it that much? Drag Me to Hell. I thought that one was so funny. I thought it was hilarious. Drag Me to Hell is a good one. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Yeah, that's a good one. I am not familiar with the Outlast video games for PS4. I don't have a PS4. I don't have even a newer version of Xbox, but when I did play Xbox, I preferred first-person shooters and like first-person shooter games and like stuff like Grand Theft Auto and and I also like the third-person games too. Like I can't remember what it was. It's been so long. It was a zombie movie or zombie game. But typically when I'm playing video games, I like first person shooters. Um, that's usually what I go for. So that was all the questions I got. I made it through that. I'm glad I did this live because this would have been like a 40-minute video. But yeah, so if you guys want to ask any other questions or um, talk about like horror or anything, you know, just ask away. Because that was kind of what I wanted to do, was just kind of go through the questions that people had asked me. And what do you do to celebrate Halloween? Well, since I've moved back to Ohio, I don't really do a whole lot. A lot of the times I have to work. Um, and so I don't really get to do much. And nobody trick or treats on my street because my house kind of sets back off the road and there's no sidewalks. So I don't do as much as I used to. When I lived in Los Angeles, I worked on a haunted maze, and so I always had that kind of stuff going on. Working on the haunted maze, there used to be, they'd block off a section of West Hollywood, and you could go down there and see all these insane, like insanely cool costumes and stuff. Um, Drag Me to Hell is great. Yeah, when the corpse throws up on her, it is funny though. What is your favorite trauma movie? Oh man, I love Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, Nazis Must Die, Poultry Guys, Terror Firmer. Those are probably my favorites. But I mean, I love me some trauma. What is your favorite thriller movie? I am not a real big fan of thrillers, but what I will say is I count The Green Room as more of a thriller than it is horror, and I would probably choose that one. That one's a really good one. Um, Rubber is a good one, about the tire. What is the most disturbing movie you have ever seen? Mine is Irreversible. I've never seen Irreversible. Um, the one that I've seen that was probably the most disturbing was maybe a Serbian film, but realistically, it's a fake movie, so it's not really that. You know, I am more disturbed by the idea that and that in Cannibal Holocaust they have real animal killings. That to me is disturbing. The stuff in Serbian film is not the easiest stuff to watch, but it's all fake. I mean, let's see. I know someone asked me if I collect, I think Trash Picture Show asked me if I collected action or like horror figures. I do. I have a small collection of horror figures. I sold some and I've given some away. But I do have a small collection. I have a few reaction figures. I have, I don't know, a handful of NECA figures. Charles Band is a favorite. Yeah. Let's see. I did not see the last horror movie. My favorite horror collectible I own. Hey, Horror Devil 333. My favorite horror collectible. Wow. I'm not sure. Um, Two of my favorite things I own are my signed photo of the creature from the Black Lagoon by Rico Browning, who was the creature for all the water scenes. That's one of my favorite things. Another one of my favorite things is my Night of the Living Dead poster signed by George Romero. Let's see. The baby does look fake in Serbian film, and it's just, it did. It just looked fake. I honestly have a way bigger problem with the goings on of Cannibal Holocaust than I do Serbian film, and that's probably why I'm not going to watch it. What is your favorite horror related cartoon? Well, I like the Tales from the Crypt Keeper, and I also like Toxic Crusaders. Um, I do like to read horror comics, but I've not read Hack Slash, but I could definitely check that out. Halloween 2 NECA figure. It is badass. Um, what was your first horror movie? I believe my first horror movie was Jaws. It was either Jaws or Creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm not sure which one I saw first, but I know that I was about 5 years old when I saw both of those. Um, favorite zombie film? Wow, that's a difficult question. My favorite zombie film is likely Dawn of the Dead, the original one. Um, but I also like Lucio Fulci's Zombie. I also like Burial Ground. I like 28 Days Later. I mean, there's a lot of them. Have you ever took a poop on your food and ate it? No, I haven't. 976 Evil is pretty good. Um, yeah, it's Rob Zombie's El Super Beasto is good. Yeah, and I like Rob Zombie's music too. I enjoy his music too. I like his movies too. A lot of people don't like him, or they he's just not their cup of tea, and that's fine. But I personally like all of his movies. Some are better than others. Who do you think would win the 28 weeks later zombies versus the Hills Have Eyes mutants? Um, I don't know. I mean, the the 28 weeks later zombies would probably like be faster. um, Dead End is a good one, Lita. That movie creeped me out. Dead End creeped me out. You collect horror VHS too? Yeah, horror VHS is awesome. Favorite alien movie? I like the alien movies that are more like traditional aliens with UFOs. I like those movies better than like, movies that have like weird creatures as aliens. Um I like those kind of movies better. But favorite one? I'm not sure. Favorite alien movie? I don't know how to let's see. Okay, I'll make you a mod, Dave or Michael, or I don't know how to make you guys a mod. Just got to click the three. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll make you a mod, Dave. Michael Long, I'll make you a mod because you're always good at that. Yeah, I noticed I was getting a couple of things there. Jason, I'll make you one too. I just make everyone a mod. Okay. I just try to ignore that kind of stuff because it's just it's just nonsense. It's just nonsense anyway, guys. Yeah, I did. I clicked the dots and added some people. Thank you. Thank you guys for looking out for me. I appreciate that. Um, I like those Area 51 movies. They're usually pretty cheesy, but even that found footage one I watched not too long ago, I really enjoyed. Lita, I'm stoked that you liked both Grave Dancers and I did give the mayor the mighty band hammer. Um, the Grave Dancers, I'm glad you enjoyed that one, and also Dead End. They're both good movies. I mean, genuinely creepy movies, I think. And Grave Dancers has like a bit of the poltergeist type stuff. Fire in the Sky is, yeah, that's an excellent one. That is an excellent movie. I have that on VHS. Yes, I have seen Toby Hooper's Invader from Mars. I like that one a lot. Um, Doug, that's awesome. I've been wanting to meet Linnea Quigley for a long time. What called Phoenix Down? Fire in the Sky was an excellent one. Communion is also another fun alien one. I what's that M. Night Shyamalan one called? Oh, Signs. I liked that movie until the end because the end was such a big letdown. But the rest of the movie was good. Um, I like cheesy alien films that are really fun too. There's one that I've been wanting to get. There's two that I've been wanting to get. One called Evil Aliens, and the other one's called Alien Raiders. I've heard both of those are pretty cheeseball. My favorite director, my favorite director in all of filmmaking is David Lynch. But my favorite horror directors, oh man, my favorite horror directors, that's um Communion's good, Jason. Jesse. Oh yeah, Jesse. Jesse, I just mentioned two movies that you that I've seen you talk about. One was Alien Raiders and the other one was Evil Aliens. Those are two alien movies I want to check out. Um Almost Human. I don't That sounds familiar, but I don't think I have seen Almost Humans. Almost Human. My favorite horror director is that's really tough because there are so many good ones. But I'm a big fan. Like if you want to look at somebody's whole, like the whole of their work, I would probably say Lucio Fulci is a favorite for sure. I like Dario Argento. Tanny Canny wants to be a mod, but I have no clue who you are, so I'm not going to do that. um, I appreciate you tuning in, though. Almost Human. It's that sounds familiar, but I can't think of what it is. But yeah, my favorite filmmaker of all time would be David Lynch. Oh, that's cool, Dave. Favorite creature movie? Man, you guys asked some difficult questions. Favorite creature movie? There's a lot of really good creature movies. Um, Gosh, what are my favorite creature movies? I like Jeepers Creepers a lot. I know that like obviously I hate the director of those movies, but I love the concept of the creeper. Um, the creeper's an excellent like monster, I guess you could say. Um, Big Legend's a great movie. I enjoyed that one. Um, I like Exists. Creature from the Black Lagoon. I like all those monsters, like the Wolf Man. I like werewolf movies. Oh, somebody asked me what my favorite werewolf movie is, and I must have accidentally missed that question, but I just remembered having seen it somewhere. John Kyle Stanton, you asked me what my favorite werewolf movie is, and my favorite werewolf movie is The Howling. Um, and other werewolf movies I really also love would be um, American Werewolf in London. I'm trying to think. It's I sadly 8:51 p.m. is kind of late for me, so I'm starting to not be able to think. Late Phases is good. Silver Bullet. Um, Legend of Boggy Creek. I love Michael. Yeah, I love the Legend of Boggy Creek. I like Bigfoot movies. I'll watch any terrible Bigfoot movie that that's available, and many of them are bad. Yeah, I like werewolf movies. Um, I'm trying to think of some other monster movies I like. The Ritual was a fun creature feature. Um, what else? Ginger Snaps is good. Ginger Snaps is a good one. Oh, Amy, I saw you watch Groundhog. Let's get a live review. Yes, I did. I watched Groundhog, Dave Maggott's film, just the other day, or maybe it was yesterday. It's been in the last couple of days. I was Dave, if you're still watching, I don't know if you're still watching, but I was really like um I was pleasantly surprised at how good of a film it was. It was well shot, it was well edited, it had some great gore. Um it was really well lit too. I really enjoyed the fact that it was lit well. The only thing that I had trouble with was the sound, and I don't know if it's just because my setup is very ancient, but sometimes I couldn't hear well. But other than that, I mean, the story was fun. The the groundhog was hilarious, and James Balsamo, I was cracking up at him at at the beginning. He was fun. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. I enjoyed it a lot. In fact, I enjoyed it a lot more than I anticipated enjoying it. But it was well made. I really did like it. The sound was borked. The sound was a little bit weird, but other than that, everything else was great. I was really happy with like the gore involved, and yeah, yeah, I liked it. I liked it. Definitely. Trust me, I have seen some independent films where it doesn't look like these people have had any idea about what they're doing at all. So, Doug, don't ask me how old I am. I'm older than all of you. Did you get rid of the trolls, Dave? I think they did, yeah. Doug, do you really need to know my age? Do you guys really want to know my age? I hesitate to tell you. Bronco Juggalo, you are correct. I'm 25. I'm 25. You're right. No, it's okay, Doug. I'll tell you. I'll tell you guys. I am 45. I'm 45. I don't know, Michael. I'm getting up there. I'm getting old, guys. Getting ancient. Getting real ancient. Maybe one day in 20 years, I'll do a special feature documenting about the troubles on Groundhog. It was fun. It was a fun movie. I liked it. Same age as Ashley Lynn Caputo. Really? Well, she looks better than me, though. No way, Michael. I am. You're right up there with that old man, named Horrific Nightmare. That's funny. Yeah, I'm a lot older than you guys think I am. I was gonna try to keep that a secret for as long as possible, but I guess everybody knows it now. It's true, Zachary. That's why I chose Bronco Juggalo's age that he gave me of 25. I do like The Simpsons. I haven't watched The Simpsons in quite a while. I also like South Park. Um, and I love like I'm also a big fan of action movies and martial arts movies, so I'm like ready for that Triple Threat movie to come out. Have you guys heard of that? With I forget. It's got the guy from The Raid, Michael Jai White. Yes, Doug, you have told me this before. I know. They're making a Bruce Lee movie? I didn't know that. I'm down to watch that for sure. I like martial arts movies. I especially like that guy that's in The Raid. Like I'll watch any I've watched I think all of his movies at this point. And I enjoy them. So what are you guys doing for the night? Hey Ben. Yeah, I kind of realized that I started this. I think it's dumb that they pulled his episode. I think it's pretty dumb, but the Michael Jackson episode. I have undeniable charm. Well, thanks, Matt. You're about to go live in a while and start drinking. I wonder who all's still with us. Lita, what are you doing? You're like always randomly like traveling now. And are you not working where you and Robert were working? Oh, The Burning's a good one. Yes, Zachary, I did watch The Night Comes for Us. It was excellent. Just no talking about Star Wars. Do you all know? I know who Darren Mitchell is. I've met him before at Texas Frightmare, actually. He was there. No talking about Star Wars. Why not? Does nobody like it? Does nobody like Star Wars? Who's your favorite horror YouTuber? We hotshot now, so we haul freight now. So, are you guys like trucking men? Have you ever heard of a rapper from Houston named Gangsta NIP? No, I haven't, but I can look him up. Who's your favorite horror YouTuber? My gosh. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who my favorite horror YouTuber is. I watch a lot of different people's channels. I like movie collection channels because I like to see what movies people collect and their DVD and Blu-ray collections. And I pretty much watch the same people. I watch, as far as like collection updates and stuff, I watch Terror for Tom. I watch Cool Duder. I watch Bones and the Necro Zoo. I watch Jesse Midnight Crawler. Um, those are probably like my favorite like collection channels that I watch. You were in Ohio last week? Oh, just got in a very unheard of movie, which I will be showing on my stream. Cool. No, Doug, you did not put me on the spot. It's okay. I haven't seen Gamera Super Monster, but I want to see it. You know, maybe Ben from Cadaver Club might have seen that. What about Dinosaur Dracula? I do. I get Dinosaur Dracula sometimes. I mean, are you asking about Dinosaur Dracula, the little mystery box? Yeah, see, I knew Ben had probably seen it because you just got that Gamera figure that was pretty cool. You live right on the Pennsylvania border of Ohio. Very cool. I'm probably a few hours away then. No, the YouTuber Dinosaur Dracula. I know who that is. He also runs a subscription box. I think his name is Matt. Um, and he has a subscription box of fun stuff. But I know he has a channel. I've not watched much of his channel. I have been wanting to watch Castlevania. I have not seen it though yet. The most recent anime that I was watching on Netflix is Baki, the guy that fights everyone. An art card and a poster with it. Ooh, there's sirens outside my house. Hopefully they're not coming for me, guys. Be back up there. So that's crazy that you're suddenly like, you and Robert are trucking. Trucking. Do you work in the film industry? I used to work in the film industry when I lived in California. I did work 2 jobs because film work is not always reliable. But yes, I did used to work in the film industry. I did special effects makeup and made props and did set painting and stuff like that. Yeah, I would watch your Ben 10 music video. I've watched some of your videos before. Um, have you ever checked out Dr. Wolfula's horror movie reviews? No, I haven't. You know, some other YouTubers I like Bloodbath and Beyond a lot too. Um, and then of course I watch all my friends' channels. I watch a lot of you guys' channels. Um, uh, but yeah, I try to watch as much YouTube as I can because it's better than TV, first of all. Another favorite channel of mine is Amy's Crypt, and she does paranormal investigation, and I always get sucked into her videos. Like, always get sucked into them. Robert has a YouTube channel. Maybe I should go post something on there. I used to work in the film industry. Most of what I did was special effects makeup. Um, Bye, Jason. Thanks for joining. Or maybe you're not leaving. I don't know. Um, I worked on some independent films, one of which is called Bad Reputation. I did masks and costume pieces for Six Flags and also for Universal Studios. See you, Jason. Thanks for joining and moderating. um, and what else? It was mostly that kind of stuff. Uh, prop building and set painting and stuff. I freaking love Amy's Crypt. You know, I only found Amy's Crypt because she found me. And I checked her channel out because her name is also Amy. And that was why I checked her channel out. And when I checked her channel out, she only had like 200 subscribers. And I was like, dude, you need way more subscribers. And now she just hit 50,000 subscribers. And I'm so excited for her. But yeah, Amy's Crypt is awesome. If you like paranormal stuff, she goes to some amazing haunted locations. She takes some amazing footage, and she has a fun channel. So Amy's Crypt for sure. Amy's Crypt for life. I told her the other day we need to make a video, a compilation video, because in her videos, she always says, "Hello, my name is Amy," when she's talking in her spirit box. and sometimes she has to translate it to different languages. So I told her that we need a compilation video of all the times I say, "My name's Amy," and she says, "Hello, my name is Amy," in all these different languages. Yeah, I agree. Practical effects are fun. They're fun to make and create and execute. Um, it's just kind of expensive and not really like the materials can be expensive is really all. But so yeah, but yeah, it was fun. I definitely enjoyed working on projects. Hey, thanks for joining Bronco Juggalo. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good stream. And I may like join in your chat here in a little bit. I have not heard of Amy Bruni or Amy Allen. Doing special effects is fun. I mostly taught myself, and then I kind of got jobs with other people, and they kind of showed me some other techniques and whatnot. But Fangoria was my teacher back in the day. Exactly, Lita. It would be like Amy's Crypt saying, "Hello, my name is Amy," and in her cool Australian accent, and then me saying, "My name's Amy." It would be like a nonstop video of all of our "My name's Amy's." That's cool, Dave. Special effects are fun. What is your favorite Friday the 13th movie? Mine is part two, but four is technically the best one. I like I like a lot of them. The ones I like the best, I know somebody's gonna probably give me crap about it, but I like 2, 3, 6, and 8 the best, other than the original. But I do really like Jason Takes Manhattan. I love it. I don't know why. I just love it. It's so bad. That would be Amy-rific. Right. That would be Amy-rific for sure. You have a present for me via email. I must have missed that one, Doug. Well, thank you. I will check my email as soon as I'm done here, and I appreciate it, whatever you sent me. I appreciate that. I love Jason Goes to Hell's not one of my favorite ones, but um I have a few things from what I worked on, but not much because most of the things I was making for other people who owned the rights to it, so they kept all of that stuff. Um I like Jason X also. What's your favorite practical effects death in a movie? I love the basketball head explosion in Deadly Friend. One of my favorites is in Hatchet when that woman gets ripped, like her head gets ripped in half. That's one of my favorite ones. I mean, Hatchet's awesome. Jason X is a pretty fun one. I like some of the practical effects deaths. Man, there's a ton of them. I did not see Death Note next Netflix movie, but I should check that out. I actually, because you're usually suggesting anime to me. I do plan on watching Castlevania because I do like anime. Do you have any pictures of the things that you worked on? I probably do somewhere. I used to have a portfolio that had uh, photos and stuff of things that I had made, and I probably still have a few of those things in there. I made a severed hand. I made one thing we did. We had to make this this arm get cut off, and they wanted this really ridiculous like spray out effect of blood coming from the shoulder joint, like real cheesy special effect. And we made a rig to fit on the inside of the shoulder where we had a fake arm attached, and the arm was ripped out, and you could see all this gore and stuff coming from the end of the arm. But they wanted the arm to bleed in both places. They wanted the fake arm to bleed and also the shoulder joint to bleed. And so we made that, and it involved like aquarium pumps and a 5-gallon bucket of blood and drills and all this crap. But it was super fun. It was really fun. And man, that whole place had to be like covered because it just was spraying blood all over the place. But it was a super fun thing to make. If you could visit any horror filming location, which would you choose? Wow. If I only got to pick one, I would probably want to visit what's left of the Evil Dead cabin. If I got to pick a couple of others, I would probably want to pick Creature from the Black Lagoon, some locations there, or Jaws. Since Jaws was a big influence in my life. Top 3, I would definitely Evil Dead would be up there. It would also kind of be cool to see where they did some of the Hatchet scenes, like the bayou in the first Hatchet. Well, in all the Hatchets, like that bayou looked pretty cool. I'd like to see that too. I guess Jaws really wouldn't be much of a location because it would just be like the ocean and that's it. So maybe I should rethink my the 3 I would choose. I would definitely choose the Evil Dead, and Hatchet. And what else would I pick? Maybe Dawn of the Dead. Maybe some locations of Dawn of the Dead. Could be Amity. Yeah, that's true. But Amity, I think they filmed it in Martha's Vineyard, so there really wasn't an Amity Island. I think it was technically Martha's Vineyard, which I think is like a really rich area of Connecticut. The hotel in The Shining would be epic. That would be epic. Any behind the scenes in Hatchet would be because I don't know if it kind of looked like a real location, but then in some shots it kind of looked like a soundstage. So I'm not really sure, but I definitely, that would be awesome. The hotel in The Shining. I'm sure we wouldn't. I'm surprised it's even still there. Like, I remember, I don't think it's still there anymore. The Sherman Oaks Galleria was where they filmed Fast Times at Ridgemont High, if you've ever seen that comedy. And I remember I think they tore it down, but I did see it and it didn't look like anything like, didn't look anything like what was in the movie. Because, of course, the movie was in the 80s and Martha's Vineyard might be in Massachusetts. I'm not sure. I just know it's up in that area somewhere. Yeah, but I think you might be right. Well, guys, I think I probably will sign off here in a few minutes, since I've been going on and on for quite some time. But I do appreciate you all tuning in, and I guess if anybody has any like last minute questions, feel free to ask them. And then I'll go because I don't want to interfere with Bronco Juggalo's stream. So if people want to join in his stream, they can. And I have trouble sitting still for very long, so we've just about maxed out my time. Sitting still. Thank you, Ben. Thanks for joining in. I hope you have a good night too. What's the meaning of life? To have fun. Thanks for asking a question, Jacob. I appreciate it. Thank you, Matt. You were here like the first one, I think. Thank you. I'll do another one of these soon if you guys want to. They are fun. Some people can just stream for hours and hours, and I can't sit still that long. I don't think I am doing the creepy channel crawl because I think after all, I'm not even going to be here for the dates. I initially thought I was, but I'm not going to be. I don't think I'm even going to be home. One last question. What's your favorite slasher final girl? Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 3, even though she dies in 3. One of my favorite final girls is definitely Amy Steele from Friday the 13th, Part 2. I also really like Danielle Harris. I think she's excellent. And Nancy, of course, like Heather Langenkamp. You can't go wrong with her. I would love to see the Army of Darkness set. That would be cool. Yeah, that's what her name was. I couldn't remember what her character name was offhand. Well, guys, thanks for joining me. I appreciate everybody hanging in there and asking questions. I feel like I got more questions this time than I ever have in all of the time I've been on YouTube. And for those of you that are new to my channel, I have a whole playlist of other question and answer videos that I've done. So feel free to check that out if you want to see more question and answers. I got a lot more different questions this time around. There's a few repeats, but for the most part, I got different stuff. So check those out if you want. You're doing it at 5 a.m. Oh my God, I will pray for you. See you later, Zach. Matt, I will definitely try to check out your horror collection video and your commercial. Thanks, Michael, for joining me. I appreciate you and your moderator work, you and all the other moderators I made. Thanks a lot for joining Gamer Geek, and welcome to my channel. You're new, so there's all kinds of stuff that you probably could see on my channel. Okay, guys, I will see you later. And Doug, thank you so much for whatever you sent me. I'll check my email here in a couple of minutes. And that's going to do it for this live stream, guys. And I hope you all have a great night and much love. Mwah.